One quiet night on an alien planet, a single human walked into the most dangerous bar in the galaxy. Every alien inside thought the same thing: this human just made the biggest mistake of his life. They were wrong. Rain moved sideways through the neon streets of Dockside District 9, carried by a wind that smelled faintly of salt, engine coolant, and alien spices that no human tongue could properly name. The night sky above the colony city of Carthos was layered with traffic, lanes thin glowing rivers of hovercars and cargo drones weaving between towers that pierced the clouds. Most humans stayed in the upper districts. Dockside was different. Dockside belonged to everyone else. At the corner of a narrow street where broken holographic ads flickered like dying fireflies stood a small establishment with a crooked sign, written in 6 languages. None of them were human. The sign translated roughly to "the last stop." Inside, the bar pulsed with low alien music that sounded like vibrating glass underwater. Strange lights shifted along the ceiling, adjusting automatically to suit the eyes of whatever species happened to be sitting beneath them. Creatures from half the known galaxy occupied the tables. A tall insectoid with translucent wings sipped glowing liquid from a narrow glass tube. A cluster of gelatinous beings shared a bowl of shimmering vapor. A massive reptilian mercenary sharpened a blade the size of a human arm. This was not a place humans visited. Humans had a reputation: unpredictable, violent, impossible to read, and, according to several interstellar military reports, disturbingly durable. So when the door slid open with a soft hiss and a single human walked inside, the music didn't stop, but it did become quieter. The human was male, mid-30s. Perhaps dark coat soaked from rain, short hair, calm eyes scanning the room like he was entering a quiet cafe rather than the most dangerous bar in Dockside. His name was Marcus Hale, and he had just walked into the wrong bar for them. Marcus approached the counter, boots clicking softly on the metallic floor. Behind the bar stood the bartender, a tall blue-skinned alien with forearms and a narrow face that showed no emotion. The bartender leaned slightly forward. Human establishments are located 5 districts above this one. Marcus placed a small metal credit chip on the counter. I know. His voice was calm, almost bored. I'll take whatever the locals drink. The bartender studied him, then silently poured a dark liquid that smoked slightly when exposed to air. Marcus picked up the glass. He smelled it, then took a sip. His face didn't change. Behind him, several patrons exchanged glances. Humans weren't supposed to handle drinks like that. Across the room, the reptilian mercenary watched Marcus carefully. The reptilian species known as the Varkari were large, heavily armored creatures whose society revolved around strength and dominance. This particular Varkari, named Kraft, was nearly 8 feet tall and carried a reputation for starting fights simply to relieve boredom. Kraft stood up. The room quieted further. His heavy footsteps shook the floor as he walked toward the bar. Marcus noticed him but didn't turn. Kraft stopped beside him. You are far from your kind, human. Marcus took another slow sip. I get that a lot. Kraft leaned closer. Most humans avoid Dockside. Most humans avoid a lot of places. Kraft's yellow eyes narrowed. Are you lost? Marcus set the glass down. No, then why are you here? Marcus finally turned to face him. His expression remained calm. I heard this place had the strongest drinks in the quadrant. Kraft studied him for a long moment. Then a deep rumbling sound escaped his throat. Varkari laughter. You walked into the most dangerous bar in this sector. For a drink, Marcus shrugged. I've had worse nights. Kraft slammed a clawed hand on the counter. Bartender, bring him another. The bartender poured another glass. Marcus drank it. Still no reaction. Now several aliens were openly staring. One of the gelatinous beings whispered through vibrating bubbles, that drink contains neurotoxic compounds lethal to most species. The bartender answered quietly, apparently not to humans. Kraft leaned closer again. You are either very brave, he tapped a claw against the counter, or very stupid. Marcus finished the second drink, maybe both. The Varkari grinned. I like you, human. Kraft turned toward the room. Let us test him. The atmosphere shifted immediately. Dockside bars had traditions, and one of them involved proving yourself. Kraft gestured toward an empty space in the center of the room. A human Show us if the stories about your species are true. Marcus glanced around. Every alien in the room was watching, some curious, some amused, a few clearly hoping to see him die. Marcus sighed. I'm just here for a drink. Kraft's grin widened. You will get one if you survive. From a nearby table, a second Varkari stood. This one was even larger. Scars covered his armored skin. He cracked his neck slowly. Marcus looked at the bartender. Is this part of the service? The bartender shrugged Ulf's shoulders. Dockside hospitality. Marcus stood up. He removed his coat and placed it neatly on the bar, then stepped into the open space. The large Varkari approached him. You are very small. Marcus nodded. I'm aware. The alien swung first, fast, much faster than something that size should move. His clawed fist shot toward Marcus's head. The room expected the human skull to shatter. Instead, Marcus moved barely. A subtle step sideways, the claw sliced through empty air. The Varkari blinked, confused. Marcus calmly adjusted his stance. You telegraphed that. The alien roared and attacked again. 3 rapid strikes. Marcus dodged each one. Precise, effortless. The room grew silent. Kraft leaned forward, interested now. The large Varkari grew angry. Anger made him sloppy. He lunged. Marcus stepped inside the attack. To quick movements, a twist, a shift of weight, and suddenly the massive alien was flying through the air. He slammed into a table and shattered it. The entire bar froze. Marcus stood calmly. He hadn't even broken a sweat. The fallen Varkari groaned but did not rise. Marcus brushed dust from his sleeve. I told you, I just wanted a drink. Kraft stared at the unconscious alien, then slowly began laughing, loud, deep, echoing through the bar. Ha, I knew the stories were true. He approached Marcus again. You fight like a war veteran. Marcus picked up his glass. Kraft tilted his head. What war? Marcus took another sip, the last one. Several patrons shifted uneasily. Everyone in the galaxy knew about the last war, the human expansion conflict, a short war, only 9 months long, but devastating. 3 major alien coalitions had attempted to contain humanity when it began spreading through nearby systems. They assumed humans were primitive, weak, disorganized. They were wrong, very wrong. A human adaptability shocked every military strategist in the galaxy. Their soldiers fought harder, recovered faster, improvised constantly, and most disturbingly, they didn't give up. By the end of 9 months, the coalitions had signed peace treaties and quietly added one unofficial rule to their strategic doctrine: avoid fighting humans whenever possible. Kraft folded his arms. You fought in that war. Marcus nodded. Yeah, the bartender leaned closer. Which unit? Marcus answered casually. Orbital drop infantry. A murmur spread through the room. Even aliens who had never seen human soldiers knew the reputation of the Otis. They were the ones dropped directly into the worst combat zones, the ones who survived when survival wasn't statistically possible. Kraft's grin faded slightly. So you walked into Dockside alone after surviving orbital drop warfare? Marcus shrugged. Honestly, this place feels relaxing compared to some deployments. The bartender slowly poured another drink. Marcus picked it up. Kraft watched him carefully. Now, why are you really here, human? Marcus finished the drink, then he looked around the room again. I'm looking for someone. That changed everything. Kraft's voice dropped. Who? Marcus reached into his coat pocket and pulled out a small holographic projector. A face appeared in the air. An alien, thin, gray skin, sharp eyes. Several patrons reacted instantly. Fear. Kraft's expression hardened. You should not be asking about that one. Marcus tilted his head. So he's here. The bartender lowered his voice. Human, you should leave. Marcus smiled faintly. I've come a long way. From the dark corner of the bar, a voice spoke. You've come too far. Everyone turned. A tall gray alien stepped out of the shadows. The one from the hologram. His name was Vethin, one of the galaxy's most notorious information brokers and war profiteers. Marcus studied him. Vethin's eyes narrowed. You are persistent. Marcus leaned against the bar. You sold weapons to both sides during the war. That was business. You sold targeting data that got 300 of my unit killed. Vethin's smile was thin. War has casualties. Marcus nodded slowly. Yeah, the room felt colder now. Krath stepped back. Even he didn't want to stand between these two. Vethin gestured slightly. From hidden corners of the bar, for armed mercenaries emerged. Different species, heavy weapons. Marcus sighed. I just wanted a quiet drink. The mercenaries raised their weapons. Vethin spoke calmly. You should have stayed in the upper districts, human. Marcus finished his glass, then said it. Down, you know, I've heard that sentence before. The mercenaries opened fire. Blaster shots lit the bar. Tables shattered. Marcus moved faster than before. The first mercenary collapsed before he even understood what happened. The second lost his weapon in a blur of motion. The third tried to retreat, too. Late, within seconds, silence for mercenaries lay on the floor. The entire bar stared in stunned disbelief. Marcus walked slowly toward Vethin. The alien stepped back. You can't kill me here. Marcus stopped in front of him. I don't need to. He tapped a small device on his wrist. Outside the bar, sirens began echoing through Dockside. Security forces, military grade. Vethin's eyes widened. Marcus smiled slightly. You see, when a war ends, some soldiers retire. He leaned closer. Others become hunters. The door of the bar burst open. Armed security units flooded. Inside, Vethin was seized instantly. Marcus stepped aside calmly. Krath stared at him. You brought them here. Marcus picked up his coat. I told you. He placed a few extra credit chips on the bar. I came for someone. The bartender looked at the unconscious mercenaries, the destroyed tables, and the arrested crime lord, then back at Marcus. You are welcome here anytime. Human. Marcus put on his coat. I might take you up on that. Krath folded his arms. You walked into the most dangerous bar in Dockside. Marcus headed toward the door. Krath finished the sentence quietly. And it turns out we were the ones in danger. Marcus paused at the doorway. He looked back once, honestly. A small smile appeared on his face. That was one of my quieter nights. Then he stepped back into the neon rain and disappeared into the city.